Today we're going to be looking at 4 of the biggest brand name frozen pizzas in the UK, and we're going to be pitting them against each other in a taste test. Welcome back to Delicious Eats, and I've got the children to myself for a few days. I don't really fancy doing a whole lot of cooking when I've got tons of stuff going on outside of school and work and everything. So I've got 4 of the biggest brands of frozen pizzas in the UK. I'm going to taste test them. The children are going to taste test them, and we'll come out with some sort of result, hopefully, at the end. Now, clearly I'm in the UK, so if you're from the US, I don't have access to your pizzas. Maybe I can pop over some stage and we can have a taste test. But let me know what you guys think over in the US about your supermarket frozen pizzas. Let me know which the best ones are to try, and you never know, I might be able to pick one up from somewhere here. So all of these pizzas, for simplicity's sake, are mozzarella or just cheese flavored. None of them have got pepperoni or other toppings on them. So first up, we have the Dr. Oetker Ristorante mozzarella pizza. I've had this dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Something about the name, though, doesn't ring quite right. Dr. Oetker, I don't want a medical professional in my pizza. Then we've got the Goodfella's Margarita 3-cheese blend. So it's an old one, but it's a good one. Let's have a look, see how that goes. Next up, we've got Chicago Town Ultimate Chicago Thin Loaded Cheese Pizza. Super thin, little bit bigger than the others. Let's see how that one fares up. And finally, we've got the Crosta Mollica Margarita Sourdough Pizza. So it's a little bit more like a Naples style pizza. It says it's made in Italy. The back of the packet makes it look pretty good. Let's see how this one stacks up as well. Right, let's pop them all in the oven and see how it goes. So first up is the Crosta Mollica Margarita Pizza. So there were 2 of these in the box for £5.25. So it is the most expensive of the 4 pizzas we've got. It does look quite appealing. The crust seems to have risen quite a bit. Let's have a look. So not really done much in the crust at all, actually, to be honest. It's thin, looks good, good coverage of cheese, and we'll see what that's like. Right, so let's try this one. And I have already taken a bite because I started filming, realised the top of my head was cut off, so let's try that again. It's good to have a second bite. The crust actually is really nice on this one. It's nice and thin, you might not be able to see, but you can see that they've let this dough at least rise for a little bit. The edges around the edge, the crust around the edge, there's not a great deal there. It's not bad. The sauce is well seasoned though, and the cheese, there's a good amount of cheese. So this one's actually pretty good. This definitely tastes, I don't know if I can taste the sourdough and the fermenting dough in this, but it's definitely pretty good. Right, so next up is the Chicago Town Thin Crust Pizza. Not very impressed with the crust itself. It's pretty floppy, look at that. I mean, it's well cooked, you couldn't cook that anymore, particularly. The cheese is right up to the edge, which I guess is kind of good, but I kind of like something to hold on to. Let's have a look. Cuts nicely. So let's see. But yeah, still pretty floppy. Tons of cheese. I would probably say maybe a little bit too much cheese. So the floppy Chicago Town pizza, bit difficult to hold. Lucky it's been a couple of minutes since it's been out of the oven, so actually the edges are starting to dry up a little bit. But you can just see, I don't know if you can see properly on the camera, but you can see where if I leave it there, the cheese is just going to slide right off. This one isn't great. This is the fattiest of them all. So there is the most fat in this. This one is definitely the least healthy. There's a lot of salt in it as well. I'll tell you what, there is no flavour in this whatsoever. Considering how much salt is in this, both the sauce and the dough, there is absolutely zero flavour whatsoever. I can't even taste the salt. The tomato, look, the whole thing is just falling apart right now. The cheese has no taste, sauce has no taste, crust has no taste. This is far worse than the first pizza. Right, next up is the Ristorante. So these are usually £3.25. This was reduced. This is the mozzarella version. It's quite a crispy base. Let's see. Piping hot. So this has actual slices of mozzarella in it. We've got some pesto. We've got some tomatoes on the top. So I guess if we're trying to get some fruit and vegetables into the children, this might be a little bit better, but it's negligible. Holds up nicely. Yeah. Holds up nicely. Right, let's give this a try.
Oh.
Good. Hot. Right, so this one. So this one, I must have had hundreds of, literally, I said dozens just now, but probably hundreds of them in the past, mainly because of the price. They tend to be sort of £3 to £3.50 or £3.75 now probably. But if they're on offer, which they are quite frequently, you can get them under £2, which £2 for a pizza is pretty good. It does look the nicest in that you've got the green pesto and you've got the tomatoes. There's a bit of colour there. It almost seems halfway between maybe a more American style pizza and an Italian style pizza, because you've still got the sliced mozzarella on there, but it looks a little bit healthier. And actually the flavour itself, the flavour is good. The crust is probably a little bit crispy, almost seems a bit biscuity on the bottom of the crust. But the sauce is nice, the cheese goes well with it, and I think the addition of the pesto is a really good addition. I could probably eat half a pizza of this and not get bored of it. The one just now, the Chicago Town one, I need to throw the hot sauce on that straight away. Right, and finally we've got the Goodfella's margarita. So this was £3, and I think that was the full price. So this is actually the cheapest pizza that we've got on here. I mean, it looks pretty basic. Let's have a look. This one was different to some of the others, I think, because it had 3 cheeses. Right. Let's have a look. It's a little bit of a thicker crust. Not entirely sure it's cooked right in the middle, but you don't really want to cook it much more on the outside. Underneath, yeah, it seems a little bit of a doughy crust, this one. Great. So this one, the presentation isn't particularly great. It's all right. Like I say, it's thicker. It definitely doesn't look quite as cooked in the middle, despite being very well cooked on the top. Holds its shape well, much better than the Chicago Town one. Let's see. This was a 3 cheese pizza, I think. Actually, the sauce on that one is quite nice. The mixture of cheeses you can taste, you can start to pick out the cheeses in there. So it's certainly better than the Chicago Town pizza, I think. Given that this was £3 at full price, this one's not bad, actually. Not bad. Right, so I've got my glamorous assistant behind the camera who's going to help me out with the next section. So, Olivia, so we've got, first of all, the Crosta and Mollica pizza. So what did you think of that on a scale of 1 to 5?
2 out of 5.
So 2 out of 5. I think she wasn't so keen on the lack of cheese. You like a really cheesy pizza, I think. Yeah. So we've got the ultimate Chicago thin pizza, loaded cheese. So this one, I didn't rate it quite as highly. Olivia, what did you think?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 she's given that. So I think, is that because of the cheese, yeah? Yeah, lots of cheese on that one. Not sure, I didn't think the flavour was quite as good. Then we've got the Ristorante pizza. So the one that I thought looks quite well presented. I quite liked it. And Olivia?
5 out of 5.
Ooh, good shout from Olivia. So she's given that a 5. And finally, we have the Goodfella's pizza. So this one I thought was fairly tasty, although a little bit doughy. And Olivia, what do you think?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. So there we have it. So that means the favourite from a children's perspective is the Ristorante pizza. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I would probably rank that second. Certainly this one. This one, no. This one, won't quite throw it away. I would probably have it again. Definitely for the price point. I think if you can get 2 or 3 of these in, feeds the children pretty well. This one, from a taste perspective, I think was pretty good. For a frozen pizza, that was probably as close as you could get to a regular restaurant pizza. It was pricey though, so you saw the size of those. 2 of those were £5.25. So would I buy that for the family all the time? Probably not. Maybe occasionally. Maybe when it's on offer for sure. But I think value for money, probably not the greatest, but it was the tastiest one. So that means, I think if we weigh up taste plus the value, I'm going to go with the Ristorante pizza. Olivia went with the Ristorante pizza. There's tons of flavours that they've got. So they've got 6 or 7 different flavours of these. The cheese one's pretty good. It tends to be the one that I know everyone's going to eat in the family. The name, still, I'm not convinced. Dr. Utker. Right, it's medicinal. So that's the rating of our 4 supermarket frozen pizzas. The rest of my channel is full of recipes, so if you are looking for a recipe or a meal for the family that is not going to break the bank but is super delicious and everyone's going to eat, definitely give me a follow, subscribe to me. If you could like the video, it would really, really help me out. I'd love to know what you think about these pizzas. If you've got one in particular that you prefer over the others, drop it below, let me know. Start an argument, why not? Right, thanks for watching the video, guys. Take care.